Well, good morning, everybody. Hey, it is Melanie Mitro, and I am excited to be here with the Women Inspiring Women podcast for a really special and touching episode today that I think is going to really hit the heart of a lot of people that tune in every single week to this podcast. Why? Because I would put money on the fact that many of you probably are women that have children, and it's probably about the time of year, if it hasn't happened to you already, that your kiddos are out of school for the summer. Now, any business owner, any entrepreneur that is trying to build a business, right, is going to have to make a shift and a change as the summer months begin to happen. So our children are home, our typical routine where they get on the bus and they're gone from 8 in the morning until almost 4 o'clock is no longer. And so we have a couple of options that we can make. And I really want to share with you a little perspective. You know, I have been in my business for 7 years. I did start my business when my boys were little, which meant they were home all of the time. And I made a lot of mistakes in that process. I make no excuses for that. My priorities were out of balance and maybe a little out of whack. And so I just want to share my takeaways with you in hopes that it will help you in your planning process. So as a newer individual in the business, right, I was pretty much attached to my device, whether it was my phone or my computer or my laptop at all times. I was really hungry to build my business, which meant I didn't have boundaries, nor did I have the experience or, the business mindset to just understand where I was going wrong. And so for me, there was a lot of guilt that happened as a newer business owner. And I was really hungry to learn and hungry to succeed, but also felt this guilt of not being present, and I wasn't present. And, I was angry because my kids were waking up and I was trying to work, and then they needed breakfast and they wanted to play. And I was trying to push them off for a little longer so I could finish this post and I could, do this video, or I could type this, email back. And so what I learned in the process is I wasn't really doing my best at anything. I was kind of dropping all of the balls. And so for me, I began to lean into this concept of just being good at managing my time. And that is truly where I refined the process of time management, where I have business hours and I have a set work schedule. And even when my kids were tiny, I still sat down every Sunday and said, look, this might go to hell in a handbag, right? Like they may decide that they're going to cut a tooth, or they may have a fever, or they may have a night terror, or they may decide they don't want to take a nap, and it may not work. But at least if I start to kind of plan out my week and I put blocks of time where I'm going to build my business, and I start to operate on the mindset of do the most important things first, just in case things go awry, you've at least gotten those vital behaviors of your business growth out of the way, and you're not wasting time. And then I would work in this extra weekend or evening time when my husband was around. When he was home from his job, I was able to go in and do work, and we communicated that so we had a better understanding of the roles, and there was no ambiguity there or animosity. All right. So same thing as the summer months approach. So, as the summer months approach, it went from being able to build my business all day to having a short period of time where I could work. And so instead of getting up in the morning, doing my workout first thing, I started to make this shift where I would get up, I would make my coffee, have it ready to go in the morning, sit down, and I would knock out my business hours at 5 o'clock in the morning for a couple of hours. And I would say to myself, I'm going to do the things that I have to get done. What are the business activities that always will move your business forward? It's going to be your prospecting. It's going to be making new friends, right? Your social media posts. You can write them all out and save them in the note section of your phone and post them throughout the day. I would check in with my clients. I would respond to emails and messages. I'd get everything that I could get done that was most important for that morning in that morning block. Then anything that didn't get accomplished, I would have another block during the day. When the kids would wake up, I would get them their breakfast. I'd go down and I'd press play on my workout because I could work out while they were awake, not a problem. I didn't love it because I like that me time, but I had to make an adjustment. So now I have my work done. And I love getting up early and doing it because there's no pressure. I'm not mad at my kids because they woke up early, because I got up, I got out of bed, I did what was important. And now after I'm done with my workout, we can get showered, we can go to the park, we can ride bikes, we can do play dates, and my stuff's out of the way. Now, I do schedule in afternoon quiet time, and I always have with my kids. So we'll come home. I always make sure that we're home at 1 or 2 o'clock, and they would go down for a nap. If they were done napping, then it was like quiet time in your room for 45 minutes, or you're going to watch a TV show, you're going to read a book, we're going to play quietly. Mommy just needs a little bit of time to do a few important things. I would sit down, I'd go through my list. What are the absolute most important things I need to get done? And I would type as fast as I could humanly type or go live. And I was just very purposeful with that time. I established that routine of quiet time every day. And it took my kids a little while to get used to it, but then that just became the norm. They looked forward to that. An hour of quiet time allows me to get what I need to get done. Then we'd go on with our day. It's later, so we're playing and we're busy. Once the kids would go to bed at night, I'd do my last most important block of time. There were some weeks where I nailed it, and then there were some weeks where I didn't always work out perfectly. I always use the weekend as my catch-up, so anything that takes extra creativity, I would do on the weekends. Now, as my business began to take off, and as I started to see my income grow, and I started to say, you know what? I want this to be more of an income. I want this to be more of a career. So I need to invest a little more time into it. And at that point is when I hired a babysitter. Just for 3 hours, on a Tuesday or a Thursday. I picked a day that, not a Monday, not a Friday, like days we wouldn't be like wanting to go to the pool or do anything different. And so I would have her come from 9 to noon, and that would allow me to get my 3-hour work block, to get my workout in. Then she would be there for 3 hours. Then I would do lunch and get them ready for a nap. And then I'd still have another hour or an hour and 15 minutes to do something else. So that day alone was like my most productive day, because I had it all lined up of all the most important things I was going to get done. I wasn't grocery shopping. I wasn't getting my nails done. I wasn't using my babysitting time to do things for me. I was using that time to build my business, talk on the phone with my coaches or my team members that needed mastermind sessions that I didn't want to do while my kids were around, right? Because they always knew I was on the phone, and they were like, phew, always needed something during that time. So the other piece of advice is personal development. I don't sit and read books very often, but if the kids are just playing quietly, I'll just pull out my book and I'll sit there and read while they're doing sidewalk chalk, right? Or if they've got a friend over, I'll just sit out by the pool and I'll read a book and watch them swim in the pool. Or, if I'm cleaning the house or I'm doing laundry, I'm cooking dinner and the boys are playing nicely, I'll turn on a YouTube video, I'll sit it up on the counter, cook, clean, do what I put my earbuds in, put my phone in my pocket, hang up the laundry. So I'm multitasking as much as possible so that I can be most productive. And honestly, that's the way you have to look at it, right? You've got to look at it and say to yourself, how do I be the most productive with the time that I have? And I guarantee you, if you start tracking where you're spending your time, even for just the next 2 weeks, you'll find, oh, yeah, I'm spending a lot of time scrolling, or I'm not working from a to-do list, or I'm not blocking out business hours. I'm winging it. So bottom line is this: even though it's summer, even though as women and women in business, our summer schedules are a little bit more hectic and crazy, it is not a time to let your foot off the gas. You can kill your momentum if you decide that you're going to take the next 3 months off because your kids are out of school. If you have big goals. If you don't have big goals and this is just a fun hobby for you, then you can do whatever you want. But if you have big goals, consistency is key. And you determine the lever. The intensity lever maybe is up or down, but you always have a baseline, your non-negotiable, that you're never willing to go below. And if you live in that spot, you will be successful. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask your spouse for some help. Ask a friend for some help. Maybe you want to see if there's any college students that are home for the summer that would want to earn some extra money babysitting. That's another great option. I don't mind asking neighbors to babysit. I'm also at home. So if I'm at home and I'm working, I'm right there if they need anything. So it's not like I'm out of the house. I might just be locked in a bedroom door because I need to be out of sight, out of mind, or my kids will bother me, right? So same thing with you guys too. All right, I hope this helps with your summer planning tips. I know that the first 2 weeks that kids are out of school, it is a little crazy, but let's just use some of those principles to get ourselves organized, work from a list, great clear communication with your spouse, and allow yourself the downtime. When it is time for you to be done with work, put your phone away. Go on a walk with your kids. Do not have your phone in your back pocket. It is better for you to be present for 2 quality hours with your kids than to spend all day sitting with your phone in your hand thinking you need to be connected. So give yourself that clear-cut sort of like away from your business and time with your family. I hope these tips helped. Again, if this really spoke to you, please share this episode with somebody that you feel could benefit from this. I know there's lots of mamas out there that are about to embark on this summer craziness and no schedule. And for us, people that like to be organized, it drives us a little bit crazy. All right, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will see you guys all next week for our next episode of Women Inspiring Women. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.